Can you guys see what I'm wearing? No, I am not talking about this Dr. Pepper shirt, although that is pretty cool as well, but actually I'm talking about the plot armor that I'm wearing. You can't really see it, right? It's invisible, but this basically guarantees me absolute immortality in my life because I said so. I've recently been rewatching Game of Thrones, and I've now arrived at the infamous season 8, the season that everybody and their mama loves to complain about. I just watched the episode The Long Night, the episode where the Night King attacks Winterfell, and I have some thoughts that really came to my mind, and it has to do with plot armor. Now, before you get too excited, I'm not in the camp of, oh my god, Game of Thrones really sucks and it's the worst thing ever and those showrunners are horrible people. I don't agree with that sentiment at all. In fact, I find it very bizarre how people have totally disregarded the entirety of the show just because of 2 seasons that people didn't really enjoy that much. And by the way, if you look at the reviews for season 7 on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience and the critics both say that that is actually a pretty solid season. It's season 8 where people truly started complaining. When it comes to season 8's shortcomings, I don't blame the showrunners. I blame George R.R. Martin for not getting the books out in time. The showrunners did a very good job with seasons 1 through 6 because they had existing stories that were already in place. They didn't have to take cliff notes and try to convert it into a full season. That is George's fault. Do you remember Sunday night, the excitement of Sunday night, how excited everyone was to watch it? What about the hype of Monday where people were so just excited to talk about the things that they had just seen on Sunday? In my opinion, we shouldn't look at season 8 and convert that to, oh my god, Game of Thrones really sucks. No, that season was weaker, but the show itself is still very great. Now, let's get on to the point of this video, the plot armor in this episode. By far, my biggest issue with The Long Night is not the fact that the whole storyline is dealt with in one episode. It is an extended episode. That is not my problem. My problem is the extreme situations that these characters were placed in only to come out almost unscathed. It was actually quite ridiculous. And yes, I know that we are watching a show with dragons and zombies and giants and just a lot of mystical things, so you do have to expect some fantasy elements and some suspension of belief. But even in fantasy, there are just rules to survival. If you are completely overrun by zombies, you're probably going to die, and that's how it should be. The stakes were insanely high in that episode. Winterfell was completely overrun by zombies, and yet it never felt like our main characters were in true danger, which is very strange. This show was never shy about killing off main characters, so why all of a sudden with season 8 did we get shy about it? That is bizarre to me. They killed off some characters, but they were characters that people were okay with dying. Yeah, we didn't want to see Jorah die. It really sucked to see Lady Mormont die, but those were not key characters. Those were characters that were basically throwaway characters. I was just so extremely bothered by some of the unlikelihood of all of this. Sam was on the ground, literally surrounded and covered by the zombie creatures, and yet, how did he survive? It doesn't make any sense. The only thing that explains how Sam survived, or how Jaime Lannister with his one left hand, that's not even his good hand, how he survived that battle, how Brienne of Tarth survived that battle, is plot armor. They decided that these characters are supposed to survive, and so no matter what situations happen, these characters are not going to die in this episode. There's a part in the fight where Daenerys falls off her dragon into a completely overrun field of zombies. But lo and behold, as soon as she landed on the field, well, there was a lot less zombies. It really became way more sparse, and there was plenty of room. Suddenly, it was more of a one-on-one kind of fight, when really it should have been 50 or 100 zombies just ambushing her right away. She should have died. Plot armor. And by the way, I am not just harping on Game of Thrones. Plot armor is something that is very real in so many things. John Wick, he's covered in plot armor. There was recently an episode of The Boys where Homelander was shooting his lasers at the vent, trying to hit Huey. Was he trying to hit Huey? It seemed like he was trying to hit Huey, but he didn't actually hit Huey. He stopped shooting his lasers just long enough for Huey to escape. Either Homelander wanted to kill Huey, or he didn't want to kill Huey. I think he made it seem like he wanted to kill Huey, so why didn't he succeed? Because Huey is wearing his own set of plot armor. I totally understand the excitement behind putting your characters in big, dangerous situations. However, if you aren't willing to lose these characters, maybe there's a different way to handle this. You shouldn't be putting characters into odds that are impossible to survive and just expecting the audience to believe that, oh yeah, random guy A and random guy B, they got killed because they suck really bad. But Sam, Or John Wick, he survived because, he's better than everyone else. Just look at some of the recent stuff that's been happening lately of Star Wars. People are getting stabbed left and right with lightsabers, yet poor Qui-Gon Jinn died from one wound. Was he not wearing plot armor? The poor guy should have been given some. I'm not a professional writer, so I'm not saying that I could do much better than these people, but I am just saying that some of the plot armor things that I've been seeing in media and movies and TV shows, it's just becoming absolutely ridiculous. The suspension of belief that is required is just not normal, and it's just really asking a lot of the audience. That battle in Winterfell should have killed almost everybody. That's a fact. So what do you guys think? Is plot armor becoming a bit too ridiculous? Is it requiring too much suspension of belief? Do these writers think that we are stupid? Or are they just getting lazy and trying to come up with ways to keep people alive that shouldn't be dead yet? It's completely stupid. Please put your thoughts on this in the comments and let me know. Did you like this video? If you did, you should hit the like button. And if you want to hear more of my opinions, well then you should be subscribing. Later.